Hi everyone. I am finally ready to tell my story. I have not wanted to tell my story because, for numerous reasons, there's a lot of things I want to clear up. And, all right, well, let's just get into it. So, I have been on a twin flame journey for almost about a year and a half. And I know a lot of people are excited about being on the twin flame journey, this and that. It's not what you think. It's not a good experience. Soulmates, twin flames, I don't know. Call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Good night, baby. Good night, my sweetheart. It's not what you think. When you meet your twin flame or go on your journey, let's just call it that. Let's just say when you go on your journey, it's not what you think. I've dealt with a lot of narcissists before, dated a lot of narcissists. People say that narcissists are your karmics, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's just a lot of wording that I just don't always agree with after this journey. And so I'm just going to call it my journey. And here's my story. I was woken up October 2020, in the middle of October. I was slapped awake, actually. Someone slapped my left arm. Maybe it was God, maybe it was divine, maybe it was my angels. I'm not really sure who, but they said, wake up, really loud. I was dead asleep. Wake up. Your soulmate needs you. Clean up your house. I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, my first response was, my house is clean. And I looked over, and my boyfriend, my kid's father, was there next to me, and I was like, oh, I see. Okay. So then started my journey. I didn't know who this soulmate was. I didn't know what twin flames really were. I wasn't really looking for a twin flame. That wasn't in my sight. So I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna do whatever you want. And I broke up with my boyfriend, and my oldest son, he started saying I should go online and date. I'm so pretty, I look so young, I need a boyfriend. And I was like, no, I don't need a boyfriend. I'm okay. I'm just fine. I'm okay. I don't need a boyfriend. And he kept insisting. And now if I ask him today, he doesn't have any recollection. He has no memory of this at all. And I was like, at the time, he was so adamant. He really wanted me to try online dating. And I was like, okay, God, I'm going to do this online dating for 1 month, and that's it. That's it. So I signed up for online dating, and I had a bad experience. It just was really weird, and I felt very overwhelmed. And one of my son's respite workers told me that I should try this other site, and I did. And that's where it got really interesting. So I'm not sure which one of these guys are my twin flame, or if any one of the three are my twin flame, but they found me. One is my first boyfriend from when I was 15. His name is Jared Saganti. He found me. And another is Paul Bates. He goes by several different names. One of the names he goes by is like Jacob Rolowski or something like that. And he has an Instagram that's Mr. Werewolf. I don't know. But he's my fiance, my ex-fiance from back in 2008. And the third one is their friend. I have no idea what his name is. I think his last name is Smith. His adopted mother's name is Jules. He was a foster kid who was in the Marine Corps. He has a daughter. Not a whole lot I know. Anyways, so out of these three, I have no idea which one I was sent to come and help. And out of these three, I wasn't sure which one is my twin flame, if any one of the three are. But here's my journey. They all found me. In January of 2021, I messaged my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend when I was 15, Jared, on Instagram because of something my son did. It triggered a memory and made me think of him all of a sudden. I was like, wow, I haven't thought about him in years. Let me wonder what he's doing. I'm sorry, it's so late. So I messaged him. He didn't message back. I found out later his account was hacked or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so as it would turn out, he was contacting me under a false name. Him and this other guy. I don't know his name. He's a Scorpio. That's all I know. They were both trying to contact me under a different name on this online dating app. And I got weirded out by this guy. Like, I just stopped the communication right away, and he kept messaging me, and he still has messaged me. He messaged me this past December, and I've asked him to stop contacting me several times. And it's one of them, or it's both of them, Jared and his friend, who's a Scorpio. Anyways, so as my story would go, I went online YouTube posting playlists and just trying to get like my feelings out, and all of a sudden someone started following me. A bunch of people started following me, and I mean like in real life, not on YouTube, but in real life. And I didn't quite understand what was happening. Basically I was starting to get stalked. And I asked God, I said, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on, but please guide me through this, just keep guiding me through this. And God told me that my twin flame was going to choose another over me, but it was okay because someone else was going to come in who the same thing happened to, and we were going to live and fulfill God's purpose together. And he showed me a picture and a little scene into the future of me and this other guy. We were older, and we just got it home from grocery shopping, and there was a knock at the door. I went to the door, I answered it, and it was my twin flame. He was older also, and he stood there, and I already knew what he wanted. He wanted to connect to me one last time. He wanted me to leave my husband and connect with him and go off with him because his wife just died, and he wanted me to choose him over my husband. And I looked him dead in the eyes. He didn't barely say anything, but I knew what he was there for because it was prophesied to me now, and this was in the future, so I was expecting this. How do you know what he was there for? And my husband was in the kitchen putting the groceries away and watching the TV at the same time and said, "Who is it, honey?" And I said, "It's nobody. It's just somebody who got the wrong mail, junk mail. I'm gonna throw it out. Don't worry, babe." And I looked him dead in the eyes as I said it. And he knew that that was my way of saying no. And I closed the door and I went back inside and I hugged my husband and I cried, and he said, "It was him, wasn't it?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "We knew this day was gonna come, and I'm so sorry that this is hard for you." I said, "I know, me too, but I did it. I did it. I chose you, the one who was there for me all these years. I chose you. No hesitation." And he just hugged me. So when God showed me this, God told me that it was going to be okay, that there was a 40% chance that my twin flame would choose me, 60% chance he would choose another. And I was so optimistic at the start of this journey. I went into this like the warrior I am, and I was so optimistic. I said, "There's a 40% chance he'll choose me. I mean, how could he not choose me? I'm independent. I'm accomplished. I'm funny. I'm smart." Just like all these things running through my head. Like, how could he not choose me? So as time went on, I found a playlist. I posted a song. I found out he was married. That Jared is married. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea from his Instagram. There was nothing on there to indicate that he was married. Nothing." And I looked through like a couple comments, and then I realized he was. And I posted a song basically that I'm gonna walk away. Like, I don't want to stand in your way. I don't want to interrupt your life, basically. And something told me to go to this song, but a different version of the song, and look through the comments. And I did. And I found not Jared. I found Paul, my ex-fiance. Yeah. He was messaging me. He's also married. to somebody. I don't really know her name. Maybe Luz. I don't know. I always call her Luz. But she's a Gemini. At this time, I didn't even know his name. I thought who was posting this was Jared. I thought who I was talking to was Jared. I didn't have any idea it was Paul or Jacob Rolowski. I had no idea. I couldn't even remember his name. Anyways, so we were communicating back and forth. And then the whole time I'm thinking it's Jared. I mean, all the stuff that he was posting fit, you know? Well, he posted one thing that made me step back and realize it wasn't Jared. And I freaked out. Who is this guy who's messaging me, who I'm messaging? Who is this guy? I have no idea. And he became angry. He became really angry at me. He told me later on that he was going to walk away from everything for me. He got sober for me. And he was planning to walk away from everything for me. And I didn't even know his name. I couldn't remember his name. I can remember his 2 girls' name. But I couldn't remember his name for the life of me. And he was so angry. And for some reason, his wife had this assumption that he was going to walk away from me, maybe based on his actions, maybe what he was going around telling other people. I don't know. But she got so jealous and angry at me, and I didn't even know her either. I had no idea who she is. I could feel a feminine energy just attacking me, and I didn't understand why. And I mean, I didn't even know or remember his name or who he was. It took me a long time to figure out who he was. He he basically set me up because he was angry. Him and his wife. Yeah. Set me up. They found out where I was living in Lakeside and broke into my house, put cameras in my house. And then they set me up when I moved to Temecula. They used Suzanne Herbert and her husband and family to accept my offer because they'd set it up, basically set me up way in advance, and I had no idea. All I knew is that God was telling me I had to move to a bigger house because my kids needed it. I mean, we're in quarantine, and my older son couldn't do virtual school with my son, who was in ABA 40 hours a week, who was screaming and tantruming with the ABA therapist. He couldn't concentrate on school. My daughter had therapy in another room, and she was not happy with her therapy either because they were making her try to stand up and do things she just didn't want to do. And anyone who knows therapy, it's basically pushing these kids to do stuff that they don't want to do. And so it's exhausting for them. It's exhausting. And my older son was struggling with trying to focus, not having any quiet time. And then we kept getting sick because I basically had a therapist with me and Scarlett, and I had a respite worker with the ABA therapist with Derek. And I had my son who had a respite worker with him who was trying to do his homework. So it was a lot of people in our small little house, and we kept getting sick. And I was like, okay, that's it. Like, we need a bigger house so everyone could have their own separate corner. So it was basically pushed to the point where we could no longer function in the house we're living in. So it was time to move. Well, I think it was God's way of pushing me into this journey that I was nervous about taking or not unsure about what steps to take. And I mean, God clearly told me that this was where I was supposed to go. And I just didn't know I was being set up. That's it. I just didn't know I was being set up. Hidden cameras were put in my house, and being watched 24/7, and people breaking into my house. Paul had Jared and this Scorpio guy. I don't even know his name. He says his name is Michael, but I think that he's just saying that. He's also said his name is David or Daniel, whatever. I mean, I don't even care what this guy's name is, right? So these two guys break into my house and alternate every 12 hours to be in my house to do live feeds or to mess with us. And they've done horrible things to me and my family. Horrible things. And nobody even knows that I know. And I've called the cops. I've contacted the FBI. I've done everything I possibly can do. I don't know what else to do at this point. They were breaking into my house and still are. Nobody believes me, except everyone who watches this crazy bullshit that's going on when they have someone who supposedly looks like me but not really, who comes in and pretends to be me when I'm not here, when I'm gone for the day or something like that. And they set this whole scene up to play out crazy scenarios. That's not even us. Because I guess they tried to post us for a day. I guess they didn't get enough views. Didn't make enough money off of it. I don't know. But I guess it was boring. Maybe our lives are boring. I don't know. So they play back all this old stuff and use Photoshop and do all this crazy stuff to make it look like crazy things are happening in my house when it's not. Anyways, so meanwhile, all these things are going on, and what no one knows is that they were doing awful things to me and my kids, and still are. They're doing awful things to us. They were poisoning our water, our food, peeing in our juices, having people, when we order food, spit in our food. I mean, like, we couldn't eat the food in our fridge or drink our water. We had to start getting bottled water and make sure that if it was left out, we had to throw it away because who knows who got to it. I had a security system installed, and I had no idea that they were able to hack into it because they saw me putting in my passwords from the hidden cameras. They hacked my phones, my devices, and saw all my passwords to everything, including my medical records, my kids' medical records, which is totally against HIPAA, total HIPAA violation. They were recording all my therapy visits for my kids, which is another HIPAA violation. And any therapist that knew that was what was going on, which is pretty much everybody in this town. It's a huge HIPAA violation, a really big one. Like, you all could lose your license for this when it comes out. So when I called the cops, I told them there was hidden cameras in my house. And the cops said I was stressed out, living all alone, raising 3 kids by myself in a big house. So they called CPS on me to just do a wellness check to make sure I wasn't too stressed out. CPS worker came out and I explained like my devices were hacked into, but I went to AT&T and I got them all switched out and I reset them all. Not really sure what was going on at that point. I was just really trying to put out a bunch of fires that I didn't know how or why they were being started to begin with. And so she was like, oh, wow, you seem like a good mom, you have your hands full. And I'm so sorry this happened to you. That's so scary. And I said, yes, it is. It's very scary that people can hack into your devices. And they say people can't hack into the iPhone, this and that. It's bullshit. They can. And all they need is your Apple ID and your passcode, and boom, they got it all. Everything. All they need is your Wi-Fi password, and boom, they got it all. Everything. They're probably watching me from my smart TV, or they hack into my smart TV, my thermostats, everything. So as time went on, I figured out what his name was, who he was, who had originally messaged me and got upset at me. It was Paul Bates, and him and his wife are the ones who did this to me and my family, because he felt rejected and she felt jealous because she knew that he would leave her for me. And now that she knows the truth, she feels like an idiot because I didn't even know his name. And he's mad because I didn't even remember his name. That to me in my life, he was so insignificant. And he made me so significant in his life for some reason, which I don't know why. I don't even know why. I loved his girls so much. They both called me mommy within like a month. I stayed with him as long as I did because his girls didn't have anybody. And it was the hardest thing, walking away from him, knowing that I was going to have to also walk away from his girls and worrying about them. This is back in 2008. I have since had 3 kids. 3 of my own. They have invited multiple people into my house to gang rape me over and over and over again. They drugged me, and I'm not really sure how or what mechanism they use. I think they roofie me, or I don't know, roofie me with my drinks or my food, something, or they chloroform me. Like, I've had visions of being chloroformed. It's weird. And I've had visions I woke up batting my hands and trying to kick someone away, screaming, no, 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 no. And then I received anonymous text messages saying that I was drugged and raped and I was trying to run away. And then I woke up the next day and I was bleeding. I was so confused because I already called the cops and the cops didn't believe me. What was I supposed to do? No one believed me. No one believes me. And I called the FBI. And I emailed the FBI. I was scared when I found out who it was and what was being done to me. And then I thought this Scorpio guy was trying to help me. He would follow me everywhere. Everywhere. He was always following me. I thought he was trying to help me. So I ended up waking up. I woke up in 5D when I found out officially that I had been raped over and over and over again for months by people, multiple people I don't even know. I was mortified. How could God let this happen? How could God let this happen? I'm not out partying. I'm not out at bars. I'm not living a high-risk life. I don't do drugs. I drink wine. I can't even drink hard liquor because my system can't even handle it. How could God let this happen to me? And I woke up in 5D. God told me that this is just a vessel. Your body is just a vessel holding this beautiful, I don't even know what you would call it, like essence, soul, energy, big ball of light. Your body's just a vessel. And I saw myself, my true form. And because of this sheer true form, this vessel is just a body that carries this pointing to me here, just like a car would drive me from here to there. Just a vessel. And all of a sudden, I was awake. I had my own 5D. As it would turn out, a lot of people were doing a lot of spells on me. And voodoo and magic or whatever, a bunch of stuff, and I could see them in my 5D. And they weren't even touching me. They couldn't even come up that high. I don't even know how to explain it, but they couldn't even reach me. And apparently this Scorpio was doing tons of death spells and love spells and sex spells on me all at the same time. I guess he does that to a lot of people. Nothing new. Him and his mom do it together. She's the one who taught him. Jules. She's a tarot reader too, by the way. Just in case if you didn't want to know. It's heart tarot, something or another. Anyways, they do it together. She's his adopted mom. She taught him. And they do death spells, love spells, and sex spells on multiple women for him over and over. Like, I think every 4 hours or something like that. And I found out that Paul's wife was doing multiple spells on me. Multiple beauty spells, death spells, tons of different spells on me. And it's funny though, I could see, because it was coming to me in my dreams, and I'd have dreams about it. But it was funny because even though she was doing all these beauty spells on me, all of a sudden it was almost like I started to look younger. Interesting, right? So they got mad and started putting Nair in my shampoo and conditioner to make it look like her spells were actually working when it was just Nair. There's a lot of people who wonder if Satan can actually attack you on the spiritual level, and he cannot. Satan is not spiritual, so therefore he will never make it up that high. If you're high vibrational, if you're very high level in the spiritual world, he can never reach you. Not in the spiritual world. Tons of spells and horrible things were being done to me and my family on a spiritual level, and none of it was reaching us. Satan can only reach you in the 3D through other people who are here. But then even then, God protects you. If you walk with God, God protects you. Sometimes do you catch some negative things? Yeah. But not with the important stuff. And only real ones know what I mean when I say that. Did the Nair make my hair fall out? Sure. That's what happens when you put Nair in your hair over and over for months and months and months. Your hair falls out. That's what it's meant to do. It wasn't from spells. It's from Nair, 3D. That's people who walk with the devil. Paul's wife, Paul, Scorpio, and Jared were all in on it. They were putting bugs in my ears, bugs in my house, poisoning my food, my water, with drugs, with I don't even know what. Poisons. I don't even know what. But it tasted funny. Our food and water tasted funny. And I would try everything before my kids would eat anything because things weren't tasting right. Can you imagine having to live like that? When you know someone's in your house while you sleep, doing these awful things, or every time you leave your house, someone's in your house messing with your food and your water. Like I'm talking about, I pay for an osmosis system for a water filter. And they put stuff in that tank. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They put things in our juices. I mean, Scorpio had his wife, his ex-wife, peeing in her apple juice, and she has HIV and hepatitis B. And so does he. Yeah. And he knew what she was doing. Knowing that we were going to drink that the next day. Who does that? Who does that to somebody else? I don't even know this guy. I've never met him in my life. And he felt so comfortable doing this to me and my family. Terrible, evil things. Peeing on my dogs, peeing all over my carpet, picking up poop that's outside and putting it in my house, smearing it in my house. This is happening. Switching out my medications, the ones that were in a capsule where you can easily open and put something else in there. Evil things were being done and still are being done to me and my family. And I do everything I can to protect me and my family. Everyone's like, why don't you just move? I just bought this house. It wasn't easy to buy this house. It's a very expensive house. It's I think I paid $760,000 for this house. Yes, my income only. Me. I bought it all by myself. I can't just up and move. It's not that simple. It takes time. Your credit has to recover from buying something, and anyways, it's a long process and a down payment and this and anyways, it's not that simple. Do I want to move? Yes. But my worst fear is they have all these cameras in place, and how can I be okay knowing that they're going to do this to the next people who move in here? How am I going to feel okay about that? I don't. I have faith in God that these people are going to get caught, that they're going to go to prison for everything they've done to me and my family. Everything. They deserve to go to prison and more. They were ugly, awful, awful, evil people. At this time, I thought, and over the summer, I thought Scorpio was helping me. He manipulated me. It happens. When you're pure at heart, it's easy for you to get manipulated. Especially when you're in a situation when you feel you're getting attacked by so many people and you don't know who to trust, and you're trusting God, and you know that God's going to send you someone to help you, and you think that that's the person because they're pretending to be that person. So I got confused. I thought he was my twin flame. He said that I was his twin flame. And his mom said we were twin flames. We were talking telepathically for a couple weeks before we even connected, over and over, almost all day. And he was upset because he was jealous that if I had feelings for Jared still. So he kept going back and forth between me and somebody else, and I had no idea. But he wanted me to basically confess my love for him to my mom, and I had denied it the week before, and so I did. I told my mom about him. I told her I didn't know his name. We've been communicating telepathically. I didn't know his name, but I felt like he was someone that I was supposed to be with because of how he was presenting himself. And he was doing voodoo to bind his soul to mine. And I didn't know. I was very naive to all of this before. I'm telling my story because if you're on a twin flame journey, you need to know this before going into your journey. And if you've already gone through this, I want you to know you're not alone. You're not stupid. You're not weak. Making yourself vulnerable to somebody is the strongest thing you could ever do. Opening yourself up to somebody else is very courageous and strong. People look at it as being weak, but it's not. It's strong. It's really hard to open yourself up to somebody. It's really hard to make yourself vulnerable to somebody else. And when you do it, it's an act of strength, not weakness, and that's where people get it messed up. It's easy to block people out. It's easy to close yourself off to others. It's easy to put up walls. That's easy. What's hard is to let those walls down and open yourself up and accept love and give love, despite how many times you've been hurt. That's the true definition of strength and courage. So I don't want you to think that if this has happened to you, that you are weak or stupid, because you're not. You're following your heart, and it's a courageous thing. Now, what this Scorpio did was foul and weak. But what I did was strong and courageous. So, before I knew it, we were connected. And then all of a sudden, Jared was connected to me too. I'm not sure why or how that happened. Because neither of us used any voodoo magic, so that was weird because he connected right after. So then when Paul found out that these two were connected, he got really jealous and made it his project to make sure he got connected to me too, and he did. And then he started doing evil things to me. Manipulating me because he was jealous. So then he went and got his wife and told her what was going on, and she connected to me then. Now all of these four could never connect to anybody else before connecting to me. And they don't want to get off of me because they know if they disconnect from me, they won't be able to connect to anyone ever again. And for some reason, they want to prove that they're a real one or something like that without having to do the actual work. And they're here. They see me making this video that I've been wanting to make and tell my story about what's happening to me. Because it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It's a pretty incredible thing that's happened because not everyone gets to experience it, but the people that I'm experiencing this with are awful and evil. They walk with the devil. They all one day decided they wanted to try to, because they couldn't hurt me at all in this connection, and we're all trying to figure out a way to hurt me. So I reminded them that the last time they did spells on me or whatnot, I basically got blown up in their face. And they're like, oh, I don't believe it. So if we all team up together and do death spells on you, it'll work. So they all ganged up, all four of them, doing like 10 or 20 death spells each over a course of an hour, over and over, back to back to back to back, over and over and over again on me. I told them I didn't feel nothing. Nothing. They were angry. So I did a reverse spell and said anything you put out against me, it will not be able to leave your vicinity. It'll be blown back up into your face. Every ill intention you have against me or anybody else, it's just going to go back into your face and stay into this bubble that you're in and just make you suffocate on your own toxins until you learn how to put out good. When I say a spell, it's not really a spell. It's basically manipulating their energy to make sure that they cannot spew out hatred and evilness into the world. And whatever evilness they want to put out there, it will not get far from them. It will just go right back to them. It's been a really long year. I'm really tired of fighting them 24/7. God makes me strong. But it doesn't mean I'm not tired. Because I am. Because now they're attacking me on every level possible you could attack somebody. They post a bunch of fake stuff about me and my family that's not even real. Like if you actually knew what was happening in my house, you would think that we're such a loving family, because we are. We don't go out very often anymore because we get gang stalked. People follow us, try to hurt us in public, and many people try to hurt us when we're in our house too. So they try to hurt us on 3D, and now that they're connected to me, they try to hurt me spiritually by stealing from me my visions, my thoughts, my spiritual teachings, my words that I get from God and the spiritual world, and basically trying to prop up other people and themselves to make themselves look like prophets or oracles or whatever it is that they want to call themselves. I don't even care. But they're mean to me. They call me fat. They call me ugly. All day long. I have no value because I don't think I make that much money. Which I don't. It's okay. I don't make a whole lot of money, but I don't think I'm poor. I mean, I'm not rich, but I earn my money legitly. I do things the right way. I don't traffic other families for money. I don't slander good families' names for money. I don't steal from other people and post like it's my own for money. I don't accept handouts to keep my mouth shut about what I know is going on. I earn my money legitly, totally legal, all my incomes. They may make a lot of money because they steal, lie, and cheat, rape, murder. They do awful things to people. They do awful things to people. I want this chapter of my life to be closed. I've prayed, I've tried to do protection and unbinding spells and to cut the cords to get them off of me. I don't know how or what else I can do. I want them off of me. I want them out of my house. I want them away from me forever. I don't want them to have any access to me at all. None of them. They're all terrible people. They involve their wives and girlfriends and ex-wives and do awful things to me and my kids in my house. And everyone thinks that I don't know, but I know. They got my neighbors involved in this to try to gang up on me. But I know what you've all done, because they told me. I told them ignorance was bliss. Because you can't unknow something, and when you have to walk around and pretend like you don't know when you fucking know. It's really hard. What I tell myself is, what would Jesus do? Because he went through something very similar. Jesus would turn the other cheek. That's what I keep hearing. Jesus would turn the other cheek. When I ask God for help, he says, trust me. Trust me. And the scary thing is that I know I'm not the first person or family that these people have done this to. They've done this to many. Because they're too professional. For me to have been the first. They're doing it to many people and hurting them and making people who are not divine or spiritually gifted look like they are for money. Have them under contracts who steal from the real ones and hurt us, and nobody knows. Because when you're under attack, like we've been under attack, we want to just hide to try to cover our heads and make sure we don't get hurt more. But God has been telling me to speak out, tell my story, because what's happening here is not okay. I know I do all my videos in the dark, I can honestly channel people when I see their face on video. So I just prefer to stay semi-hidden, and all the real ones know what I'm talking about. If you even know everything we've had to endure and go through and still go through like it's a normal life. It's like that. It's like Encanto. My daughter's favorite movie is Encanto, and at the end, they're like, the whole family's lined up and they're singing, "We've seen how brave you've been, how strong you've been." And that's how I feel like my spirit guides and angels and God is lining up, telling me and my family, "We've seen how brave you've been, how courageous you've been through this, and how you've done absolutely everything you possibly could to get help. Nobody's helping you. God's disappointed." There are some people out there trying to. I don't know who they are, but I feel them. But God sees you too. I just want you to know. I don't know who you are, but God knows who you are. It's a test. It's all a test. We had to remain brave and walk this journey. Keep our heads held high. Walking through these fires that people we don't even know are putting for us. Not even sure. And other people who know what's going on. It's a test for you too. When you watch all that fake stuff, you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong when you switch the roles. If someone was doing that to you, what would you want somebody else to do who is in your shoes? Swap out the shoes, and that's how you always know if it was right or wrong, what's going on. Swap it for someone that you care about very deeply. Your child, your mother, your sister, your aunt, your cousin. Swap it. If someone put hidden cameras in their house, I go to the bathroom in the dark. I put things up to cover up my shower, so when I shower, I can be have some privacy. I don't know if I'm ever going to get over that. If I'm ever going to be able to go to the bathroom in the light again. No one could ever know what that possibly feels like. Well, this is a very long video. I'm going to end it here. Just want you all to know that God sees all, knows all, and most important, knows the intention behind every action and reaction. Because God says the intention is the most important. He sees your heart. God sees us walking as warriors through this scary path that's been set before us, with our heads held high and our swords drawn, protecting ourselves with God. God sees us. God sees all of us.